Oh, and if you guys want to see a room tour, well, I guess it's a studio tour, then make sure you smash that like button. Alright, YouTube, so today's video is going to have two parts. The main idea of this video is to tell you guys about the brands that I love, why I love these brands, which is mostly just the culture that surrounds them, which brands I choose to invest my money into, and why as a consumer, obviously everyone wants to be smart with their dollar. So I'm going to discuss all of those, and I also am going to discuss some points that were made in a recent video that I made private. I'll discuss why I made that video private. I ain't shit. I don't think I'm entitled, I don't expect anything, I don't think I'm owed anything, right? And I will explain all of these points in a moment, but anyone who watches my videos regularly, you guys know, without you guys at home watching these videos, I would not be anything. The fact that people comment showing love and like these videos, like, that means so much to me. I am so blessed to be alive, to not be incarcerated, and not be addicted to drugs, because there's not many people in my family that can say all three of those things. I don't come from money. I come from nothing. And so I am so extremely grateful that I can put a roof over my head, put food on my table, and help my mom out, help my family out with money when they need it. Like, that means so much to me. And without you guys, that would not be possible. Any YouTuber who thinks they are better than you because they have subscribers or money, they're people that you probably shouldn't be supporting.
Never been shit, never had shit, never knew shit, never out, never do shit, damn, but a nigga never gave two shits. Never been a bitch.
What up, YouTube? It is your host, Trunks, aka Young Leonardo DiCaprio, aka I even got Milo or Milo from Atlantis. I don't know. I don't think I've ever actually seen that movie. But personally, I prefer Trunks or Leonardo DiCaprio because Trunks is a gangster and Leonardo DiCaprio pulls hella big classy ladies. Anyways, like I said, this is a two-part video, so I'm going to discuss why I like certain brands, how I decide like which brands to invest my money into, kind of like why I love these brands, etc, etc. But before I do that, I do want to discuss some points that were made on a recent video. And I also want to apologize, although I don't feel like I've watched that video countless times and I don't feel like I came off as entitled. Some people clearly got that impression. Like, if I come off as entitled to anyone, I apologize. And that video got a lot more love than hate. In fact, it's not even my most hated video by far. But I guess like my thing is I don't ever want to make someone that watches my videos feel like I think I'm above anyone else. And I didn't want that video to exist out in the interwebs and have the chance that someone would come across it and get the impression that I think I'm better than them, because I don't ever want someone to have that impression, and for that I do apologize. Now, I've watched that video, I don't feel like I came off like that, but I will say there were some valid questions, and there's really three questions that I want to answer in this video before I get into the brands that I buy and why I buy those brands, blah 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 blah. One question was, why do you hate 10 Deep? And I just simply answered that the best way I know how, which is I don't hate 10 Deep. I said in the video countless times that I love 10 Deep. I will always love 10 Deep. The next statement or the next comment was, bro, they don't owe you shit. Some people might not understand the context of this, but basically I made a video discussing why I don't spend money on 10 Deep anymore. And you're right, they don't owe me shit, just like I don't owe them shit. I never said they owed me shit. In fact, I said I love that brand, I will always love that brand, and that will never change. The fact is there's just reasons why I don't want to spend my money on that brand. And there was another reason, but I ended up removing it, which brings me to the third comment, which is probably the most valid comment. And I think that's the most fair question that I really wanted to answer, which is kind of what spawned the idea for this video, which was, if you don't buy 10 Deep because they don't show love and they don't appreciate what you do or whatever, then why do you buy Supreme, Palace, FTP? And this question will actually segue into the discussion part of this video. The difference between 10 Deep and brands like, you know, Stussy, which I love because Stussy's like, they're like pioneers in the streetwear game, right? They don't hold their value like Supreme, Palace, FTP. So if I buy a Supreme piece, and like a lot of the pieces that I buy, I only end up wearing it once because I tend to just find that like one thing that I like and then I wear that all the time. So then it gets stuck in my closet, right? And I only wore it once, and then 2 months later I'm like, you know what? I don't really even want this anymore, and I'm just gonna sell it. When I sell that Supreme piece, I'm not gonna lose as much money because it held its value. Now, if I do the same thing with a brand like 10 Deep or Stussy or whatever, depending on the piece from Stussy. Obviously, there's Stussy pieces that don't fall into that category, like the Stussy Mastermind collab. But if I buy a piece from one of those brands and I wear it once or twice, and then in 2 months I decide that I don't really want it anymore, I'm gonna lose a lot more money. I can still appreciate what those brands do, But it doesn't make sense for me financially when I have so many clothes that I never even get around to wearing for me to spend money on those brands, especially if that brand doesn't show love or appreciate what I do, because I'm just losing money at that point. Which is why I said that I will always love 10 Deep, and I said I will still show their stuff off on live. I just felt like if I added that, it would deter people from buying 10 Deep, and I did not want to deter people from buying 10 Deep. In fact, a lot of people commented, and they said, like, oh, after watching this, I went and bought some 10 Deep. So the brands that I love, right? I love brands, and this isn't going to be all of them, but like Rebel 8, Born and Raised, 10 Deep, Supreme, Stussy, Palace, Adidas, North Face, definitely North Face. I love North Face. FTP, Fucked, HUF, like all these brands, I love these brands. Ooh, Neighborhood too, I love Neighborhood. Neighborhood is a super dope brand. There's a lot, right? Mastermind Japan, all these brands, like I love these brands. Ooh, and the hundreds. God, there's so many. I could seriously go on forever, and I will I'll forget something. There's just been so many streetwear brands over the years, from A-Life, Undercrown. But anyways, why do I love these brands? And a lot of these brands tend to be skate brands, like HUF, for example. I think HUF does not get enough credit, and I've liked HUF for years. Like before YouTube was even a thing, I liked HUF. A lot of these brands I kind of started getting into when I was BMXing back in the day, because when I would go to the skate park, and no, I did not BMX at the skate park, but a lot of my friends that also BMX would ride at the skate park, I usually just jumped dirt. A lot of these brands I started getting into when I started hanging around at the skate park. And so that's kind of like the history of it, and I've always liked that I could express myself through clothes. There are shirts that represent like my beliefs, or whether it be like some kind of like representation of like an urban community, because I grew up in an urban area. So like just in general, I feel like everyone can agree that fashion is a great way to express yourself. And that's why I like streetwear. I like those types of clothes, and sometimes I like higher end shit. I love like Rick Owens. I don't know, there's brands that I appreciate that are higher end, but it's like I just don't feel comfortable in that. There's a denim jacket I saw from Gucci the other day, and I thought it was really dope. And then I look at the price tag and it's $7,000. I just feel like I'm way too money conscious to ever spend that kind of money on a jacket. Personally, I feel like even if I was a billionaire, I would not spend that much money on clothes. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. I can appreciate what they do, right? Just like some of the streetwear brands, but I just don't want to invest my money into the brand. And I think that this discussion was kind of a key point that was missing from the other video, which was like, a lot of people asked that question, and that was a very valid question. And I don't know, man, like I said, I don't ever want someone to watch my videos and feel like I think I'm above them. I never started making YouTubes thinking like, oh man, I'm gonna be famous. Like, no, I've never ever asked for that. No, like I make YouTubes because I like the content. And yes, obviously it's grown into something where I have this super dope community of individuals that I can talk with and I can share my opinion. Bro, it's like, I love what has come of this. Like, one thing that I will say about Supreme when it comes to dressing, a lot of people say like, oh, Supreme's so expensive, and I agree. Like, to me, Supreme is still expensive. I know there's gonna be some kid in the comments that's like, oh, you think Supreme's expensive? You're a broke boy. Well, yeah, I come from nothing. Yes, like I've been homeless before, so I understand what it's like to have nothing. And to me, yes, no matter how much money I have, Supreme will always be expensive to me. At the end of the day, it comes down to how you want to invest your money, and just like, remember, these clothes don't define you. No matter how you dress, like, yes, it's a form of self-expression, but it doesn't define who you are. I don't know, man. Just don't, if you can't afford to dress in this stuff, then don't get it. You know what I'm saying? If you have the initial money to invest, and you want to flex, you want to wear that piece, and then you want to get another piece, and you want to look good if you're in high school, whatever, I get that. You know what I'm saying? You want to like, you want to dress somewhat nice and, flex on your peers or whatever, then yeah, you can do that. Just kind of try to be smart with your money and understand that, like, these clothes, all this material stuff doesn't determine who you are at home. Going back to the original point, or the point that I made earlier in the video, is I don't ever want someone to feel like I think I'm above them, and that's why I made that video private and why I made it unlisted. That video was doing really good numbers. I probably would have made a decent amount of money off that video, to be honest. I don't want to make money off of a video where people will watch that video and think that I'm some entitled little prick, because I'm not. It's never been me, and that will never be who I am. I'm just a regular dude. I always will be. Oh, before we go, I do want to just show you guys one thing, to give you a little bit of insight as to how many clothes I have and why I am a little bit more picky with what I buy. Okay? Okay, so let's take this thing off the tripod. I don't want you guys to be stuck looking at my crotch. First, we have the walk-in closet. Completely filled. We have these bins, also completely filled. Another little thing up there, clothes up there, Now that's enough for one person. However, we also have this clothing rack. We have shoes at the bottom and hats on the top. We then have these 2 clothing racks, and that's kind of getting to the point where I'm just throwing clothes over it because it's just getting too packed. Don't forget the shoes, all the new clothes that I have yet to unbox. Hats, shoes, just too much stuff. We have 2 bins full of clothes in this little closet right here, and that's a beautiful vintage Tacoma Sabercats varsity jacket. And then it's gotten to the point where I don't have enough room, so I had to stick a clothing rack in my kitchen. The lighting in there is terrible, so I'm not going to stay in there, but yes, you get the point. There is a clothing rack in my kitchen. Anyways, guys, hopefully this gave you a little bit of insight. I definitely appreciate all of your guys' support more than you guys know. Trust me when I say that. Without you guys, I would be nothing. So thank you for your support. Oh, and if you guys want to see a room tour, well, I guess it's a studio tour, then make sure you smash that like button. If this video gets 20 billion likes, I'll do a room tour tomorrow. Okay, it's not gonna get 20 billion, but I'll do a room tour soon if this gets enough support. You guys want to see that. Hopefully this video gave you a little bit more insight, and yeah, I appreciate you guys. Like I said, I would be nothing without you. So, I will see you guys later.
We have come to define significance as I'm special and everything else isn't. The top 4 ingredients in life, in your body: hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, nitrogen. The top 4 chemically active atoms in the universe: hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, nitrogen. That while we live in this universe, the universe lives within us. We are special because we're the same.
Be humble, sit down. Be humble, sit down.